How humiliating was that for the government yesterday? We've argued for years that they should get rid of the non-dom tax status. They've resisted that, and now, completely out of ideas, only decent policy they got is the one that they've lifted from us. And I think if you needed evidence of why we should go straight to a general election, it's that. We need change. Obviously, we will keep our commitment to the NHS, so important it is. We'll go through all of the numbers and we'll be absolutely clear. Nothing in our manifesto will be unfunded and uncosted. That is an iron rule for the Labour Party. Contrast that with the government, where yesterday, at the end of the budget, the Chancellor made a staggering £46 billion unfunded commitment to abolish national insurance. That's bigger than Liz Truss's commitment, so they've learned absolutely nothing. We need change. It's time for change.
And you'll announce how you'll cover that differential in losing non-dom tax status.
Well, we will go through, in an orderly fashion, all of the numbers now. We will keep the commitment to the NHS because it's really important we get those waiting lists down, but there will not be a single unfunded commitment in our manifesto. But £46 billion unfunded commitment yesterday from the Chancellor at the end of the budget to abolish national insurance. That's staggering. And in the end, the overall story of the budget was, as ever, government give with one hand and take much more with the other. And people have seen 14 years of this. They're not going to be taken in by this con trick. They want an election, not change.
On the forecast, the Office for Budget Responsibility is basing much of its assumptions on population increases. Do you support more economic migration as a means for growth?
We need a proper plan for growth, and that's what the Labour Party has set out. We've been talking about that plan here on this construction site because it's about supply chains, it's about long-term decision-making, it's about making sure that public sector investment is matched by private sector investment. That will only happen if we have economic stability, and we only will have economic stability under a Labour government with tight fiscal rules and making sure there are no unfunded commitments, the complete opposite of what we saw yesterday from the government.
And on migration, that's the point. Do you support the idea of more migration to grow the economy?
I think the way to grow the economy is to have a long-term plan, a strategic plan, dealing with planning, dealing with supply chain, making sure that the government can ensure that private investment comes in. I don't think that should be done in the way the government has done it, which is simply their only plan for growth is migration. And they've got to explain that and be honest to the public about what their plan for growth really is.
And just finally, on Michelle Donelan, should she pay her own £15,000 legal bill, the taxpayers picking up that cost? Should she resign?
I think most people watching this would be aghast. The government is telling them every day that they can't do any more to help them. People are really struggling to pay their bills, and the government says we can't afford to help you anymore. People know their public services are crumbling. And then you've got a minister who says something she shouldn't have said, then has to pick up a legal action and pay damages and costs, and then says the taxpayer's going to pay for that. Totally insulting. We need a change. I'll tell you something else. If we're privileged enough to come into power and have a Labour government, we will never allow that sort of thing to happen. That will be history.